Hello students, this lecture is English literature for Shastri part 3rd, paper 1st. Today we will study about the famous poet Matthew Arnold's poem Dover Beach. First of all, we will know about the poet Matthew Arnold. Matthew Arnold, who was born on 24th December 1822 and who was died 15th April 1888. He was an English poet and cultural critic who worked as an inspector of schools. He was the son of Thomas Arnold, the celebrated headmaster of Rugby School, and brother to both Tom Arnold, literary professor, and William Delafield Arnold, novelist and colonial administrator. Matthew Arnold has been characterized as a sage writer, a type of writer who chastised and instructs the reader on contemporary social issues. He was also an inspector of schools for 35 years and supported the concept of state regulated secondary education. Arnold gave the term touchstone method. He was the eldest son of Thomas Arnold and his wife Mary Person Penrose Arnold, born on 24 December 1822 at Leham on Thames, Middlesex. John Cable stood as grandfather of Matthew. In 1828, Thomas Arnold was appointed headmaster of Rugby School, where the family took up residence that year. From 1831, Arnold was tutored by his clerical uncle John Buckland in Leham. In 1834, the Arnolds occupied a holiday home, Foxhouse, in the Lake District. There, William Wordsworth was a neighbor and close friend. In 1836, Arnold was sent to Winchester College, but in 1837 he returned to Rugby School. He moved to the 6th form in 1838 and so came under the direct tutelage of his father. He wrote verse for a family magazine and won school prizes. His prize poem Alaric at Rome was printed at Rugby. In November 1840, aged 17, Arnold matriculated at Balliol College, Oxford, where in 1841 he won an open scholarship, graduating BA in 1844. During his student years at Oxford, his friendship became stronger with Arthur Hugcliffe, a Rugby pupil who had been one of his father's favorites. He attended John Henry Newman's sermons at the University Church of St. Mary the Virgin but did not join the Oxford movement. His father died suddenly of heart disease in 1842 and Foxhouse became the family's permanent residence. His poem Cromwell won the 1843 New digit prize. He he graduated in the following year with second class honors in literary humanities. In 1845, after a short interlude of teaching at Rugby, Arnold was elected Fellow of Oriel College, Oxford in 1847. He became private secretary to Lord Lansdowne, Lord President of the Council. In 1849, he published his first book of poetry, The Strayed Reveller. In 1850, Wordsworth died. Arnold published his memorial verses on the older poet in Fraser's magazine. Wishing to marry but unable to support a family on the wage of a private secretary, Arnold sought the position and was appointed in April 1851 one of Her Majesty's Inspectors of Schools. 2 months later, he married Frances Lucy, daughter of Sir William Whitman, Justice of the Queen's Bench. Arnold died suddenly in 1888 of heart failure whilst running to meet a train. Then we come on about the poem. The speaker then makes quite an astute observation of the world that it may seem at times to be so beautiful, so new, but the reality is that the world hath really neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. The speaker concludes his lamentation with an image of the greatest lamentation of all throughout human history. Essentially, humanity exists on a darkling plane and it is hurtled about by alarming struggle and flight. And on that dark plane, there are always ignorant armies who clash by night. English Victorian poet Matthew Arnold's most famous poem, Dover Beach, is a dramatic monologue where the poet expresses his frustration and hopelessness of the modern chaotic world. He also expresses his view that this kind of situation where there is neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain, has been created by the decline of faith, religious faith to be precise. The poem begins with a straightforward description of nature and the speaker calling his beloved to see the beautiful sea and to hear the sound of the waves. The setting in is inside a room, maybe a hotel, on the coast of the English Channel near the English town Dover. The speaker and his beloved are looking outside their window at the French coast across the sea. So, at the beginning, it would seem to be a love poem or even a sonnet, as the first stanza consists of 14 lines like a sonnet, which a change of tune at the ninth lines, as it should be the case for a sonnet. But obviously, the rhyme scheme does not comply. It is only in the 14th line of the poem that the readers are introduced to some serious thoughts, which the eternal note of sadness, the unpleasant roar of the waves brings a sense of melancholy to the speaker's mind. In the second stanza, the speaker is reminded of the ancient Greek playwright Sophocles, who also heard the sound of the Aegean Sea and then wrote tragedies of human misery. In the next stanza, the speaker laments the lack of faith in the modern society. Here, he compares faith with the resi- receding tides. In the last stanza of Dover Beach, the speaker urges his lady love to be true to one another, as the new world that seems to be so beautiful apparently does not evoke much hope for him. To talk about the stylistic aspects of the poem, the lines are mostly rhyming. The poem consists of 37 lines and is divided into four unequal stanzas. Use of enjambment, continuation of a clause or sentence to the next line of a poem, gives the poem faster pace. Then we come on the paraphrase of the poem. First of all, we read the original text and we can say the first stanza of the poem. The sea is calm tonight, the tide is full, the moon lies fair upon the straits, on the French coast the light gleams and is gone, the cliffs of England stand glimmering and vast out in the tranquil bay. Come to the window, sweet is the night air, only from the long line of spray, where the sea meets the moon blenched land. Listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling. At their return up the high strand, begin and siege, and then again begin with tremulous cadence slow and bring the eternal note of sadness in. In these lines, the speaker is standing at a window, musing and looking out at the ocean. He seems to be talking to a loved one whom he invites to come and join him. Come to the window, sweet is the night air. Such an invitation could be a romantic gesture, offering the beloved the chance to share with him the lovely ocean view. The sea is calm tonight, the tide is full, the moon lies fair, but that scene is not in the offering, and the reader soon finds a very different mood is being dramatized. Then we come on the second stanza. Only from the long line of spray where the sea meets the moon blenched land, listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles which the wave draw back and fling at their return up the high strand being and siege, and then again begin with tremulous cadence slow and bring the eternal note of sadness in. The second stanza features the speaker dramatizing the crashing of the waves upon the ocean shore. Listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back. He observes that the ocean wave can be heard as they begin and cease and again begin. While the waves continue to repeat their sound, they bring the eternal note of sadness in. In place of enjoyment of the lovely calm scene, this speaker's thoughts have turned to the possibility of the universally shared brutality and sadness of the world with its inhumanity to man and its endless wars. The crashing waves as they begin and put him in a negative frame of mind. The process of beginning and ending reminds the speaker of the rounds of good and bad, also evil events that have been treated upon humanity by humanity itself. Then we come on the third stanza, melancholy and rumination. Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. We find also in the sound a thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea. The speaker offers evidence for his melancholy musing as he alludes to Sophocles, who would have listened long ago to the ebb and flow of the Aegean Sea. The speaker further emphasizes the allusion by saying, "We find also in the sound a thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea." Similar to Sophocles on rumination regarding the ebb and flow, human misery, this modern day speaker, however, has further thoughts on the matter, and he will unfurl them as he continues his drama. Then we come on the fourth stanza, the protection of faith. The sea of faith was once true at the full, and round earth's shore lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled, but now I only hear its melancholy, long withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind down the vast age drear and naked singles of the world. The speaker then lays out the lamentation regarding the status of humanity. In an earlier time, humanity remained ensconced in a religious faith which lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled. One should note that the speaker does not name any particular faith, nor does he attribute to that faith the idea that it protects, and of course he does not mention God or any other name for the deity. The speaker merely names the mysterious quality faith as he metaphorically likens it to the sea at the full and round earth's shore in his own day. However, things are different from that earlier seemingly protected time, and now he hears only the sea's melancholy, long withdrawing roar. While the sea continues to roar, it nevertheless is retreating to the breath of the night wind. Faith, therefore, is compared to a sea that possesses only the door aspect of the roar as it is in retreat. The speaker further denigrates the act of asserting that faith's retreat flows down the vast age drear and naked singles of the world. Then we come on the fifth stage.